So we're going to switch up the conversations now and we will go into motorsport. The Standard Group is the official media partner of the East African Safari Classic Rally, slated for February 10th to 18th, following a partnership between the media company and the East Africa Safari Classic Rally, which will be sealed today, this morning at the Standard Group's head office. The Standard Group has committed to provide media value to the iconic race to the tune of 21 million shillings. And this is according to Standard Group CEO Orlando Lyomo, who says, "We are proud to be the exclusive media partners. This sponsorship will go a long way in ensuring the rally gets extensive coverage and high level of visibility of international standards." When we talk about the classic rally, CT, you are throwing in the names. It's old cars.
Driven by older people.
Driven by older people.
Since I fall into the category of older people, it's something I can resonate with easily. See, our guests agree with me. They've even brought a guy on my immediate right who's trying very hard to qualify as old.
For me, I am a young man.
You brother, Bado.
It's great to know that we are driving a car. Actually, we are age mates with the car.
Come again.
A car that was made on the day you were born.
A car that was made on the day I was born. Yes. So we share a birthday with the car.
Our guest this morning, Eric Bengi, he's going to be a driver, and Gatimu Mindo, a navigator for this particular classic rally that begins next month. Karibuni sana, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much.
So tell us about this car that you'll be driving that is surely Gatimu.
We're driving a Datsun 180B. It was manufactured in 1974. So it's a car that has been around for as long as I've also been around. It's what we'd call a thrill to drive. For nowadays, people don't know about carburetor cars. You know, when you hear about a carburetor car, guys are like, what are those?
What's that?
Yes, this is the standard 1800cc carburetor Datsun 180B. Rear wheel drive. And I can tell you for free that it's a car that can move.
These cars were doing really well in the days when they were in the rally.
Oh yes. You see, the difference between these cars and the cars then and the cars now is actually just a 0 to 100. But this car, when it gets to 100, it stays at 100. Nowadays cars, they take a shorter time to to get to 100, but there's no space to maintain the 100. You get?
No.
As
in, the rallies nowadays.
Where do they go to after 100?
After the 100, where are we going? Below?
No. You get to a corner, you stop, you get to a village. Yeah. I mean, the short course races.
Right.
Yeah, you find a section of a race is about 30 kilometers. We're going to be doing 200 in one section from start to end. 5,000 kilometers in 10 days is.
And actually, yes. I think that's a very good intro. Let's talk about this Safari Classic Rally. What is it and how different is it from the Safari Rally?
Number one, the Safari Classic is an endurance race. We are doing 5,000 kilometers as opposed to what we do in the local national championship, which is about 150 competitive kilometers. You can already see the gap.
Yeah.
Secondly, for the Safari Classic, there's no recce. You don't go for reconnaissance of the road. You drive blind. You start, you go. You're given the notes the previous evening, and you run. So it's a question of balancing between speed, caution, and navigation. The third thing is that this is a race for 10 days, 10 consecutive days. You are traversing virtually all the counties across Kenya. You distinguish that from the national competition rallies, which is, in a closed space, maybe in a farm, 150 kilometers. Sometimes we do Soisambu and we don't even get to do half of it. But this one, we are moving from Naivasha, you go to Nakuru, to Nanyuki. I'm not sure whether we'll cross through Meru. Then we are down to Amboseli, Taveta, and ending in Watamu. It's quite an endurance race and quite long.
So this time, are you not going to Tanzania?
No, this year we are not going to Tanzania. I think from the organizers' point of view, there were a lot of complications with the COVID protocols since last year. So I think they redesigned the route just to go around Kenya.
Sure.
You know, this sounds to me I'm smiling because yes, you move from Naivasha, go around the country,
Cross over
Now,
Nanyuki.
yeah, this thing of running around in a farm, I've never really understood how that is a rally. Farm, just surely.
Yes, and that is what you were saying. From 0 to 100, you do it in a few seconds in the current rallies, but thereafter there's nowhere to go. The corners here, there. I mean, it is just start, stop, start,
There's
stop.
no
But for this,
space-
you can
there's
keep
no
going.
space to let the car
This one-
fly.
Right. So for
Yes,
this, you can keep going. You go to the next town. You go to the
Yes.
next
And it is
destination
on
like
open
that.
roads.
Right.
So you have it is on off-road, but it is in open roads. You
Okay.
have a stretch of 2 kilometers. You can maintain your speed. I mean, and there's a lot to be seen. The other thing to say about the classic rally is a rally for legends. All the people who have done it and they have come to their peak, this is where they go.
Those who were the big shots
Yes.
That's
in
what
the
I
days of the Safari Rally, when the Safari
Mention the
Rally was
names
Safari
of
Rally.
Ian Duncan, he's there. Baldev Chaga is there. Flash Tundo is there. Frank Tundo, Flash's father, is there. You know, and all the other legends.
So that's what I was going to ask. What does it do for the stripes on your collar then, this particular rally? Because if you look at other sports, joining one tournament it racks up points for you. What does this specific classic rally do for the competitors? What does it do then for your stripes?
Look, when you grow up,
When
and
I grow up, or
when you grow up in motorsports,
In the third person.
I get it. I got it. Thank you. Please.
and you've done everything else, this is where to place yourself. As I said, it's a race for the legends. The likes of Ken Block are coming here. I mean, it is so much prestige. There's nothing that can give you as much prestige as the East African Classic. In fact, I would actually compare it to the Dakar. Look at the people who are in the Dakar. They're the kind of people who are now in Classic.
So people who were in the other rallies and in Formula One, and now they go to retire there. To
Yes,
earn their
you've done
stripe.
it all. This is where
So
you come
Eric,
to.
what have you done for you to now get here and say this is my self-actualization?
Look, 2010 is when I started motorsports. I started with autocross. I did a few races in Apagi and couldn't handle, so to say. Then I went to Raid, Rally Raid, did a couple of seasons there. Decided to graduate to the Kenya National Motorsports Championship. We won the two-wheel drive championship in 2016. We won the Group N championship and the Division 1 championship in 2018. I've been driving in the Premier League, and I've also been driving in autocross, and I felt that it is now my time to get into something else. My son is already getting into the motorsport, so I need to
move.
I need to move and start stepping back.
I want to understand.
Yeah.
This is something I read about, but I don't fully understand. Okay, when you mention two-wheel,
Yes.
it's as opposed to four-wheel.
Yes.
Okay, that one I get.
Yes.
Now, you then mentioned the class,
Yes.
A, B, C.
Group N.
Yes.
Yes.
What determines this classification?
Okay. Now, this car classification and this driver classification.
Okay.
As a beginner driver, you'll start in Division 3. Okay? You graduate based on your speed, you come to Division 2, to Division 1, then you get to the Premier class. Last year and the year before, we were in the Premier class. We had come to the top 10, top 8 actually, so to say. Then this car classification, the beginner cars in
What's a beginner car?
the beginner car is as a less powered car. It is a basic car. It is what you would actually give to a young teenager. That a car that they will not
Let me
go and
explain
mess
why I'm
around with.
asking.
Yes.
So, if I go to a showroom and
Yes.
buy a car,
Yes.
that is a beginner's car.
No.
Depends on which car.
It needs to be prepared. There are regulations that govern the class of the car that you can drive.
Okay.
So when we talk of a two-wheel drive car, number one, it is limited up to 3,000 cc engine capacity.
It can't go beyond 3,000.
No.
Okay.
No, that is in the regulations. Then it needs to be two-wheel drive, either front-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. Yeah, basically that's the qualification, and then the safety. Then from there, you graduate to the four-wheel drive turbo cars. The four-wheel drive turbo cars is the likes of the Mitsubishi Evolution, the Subaru Imprezas. Again, there are regulations governing that, and that is a Group N car. They are the old homologated cars which were competing. Homologated. Homologation.
Homologation. Are we together?
See, we had this thing last
We
week.
heard this word last
Homolo
week.
what?
Yes,
Homologation.
okay. Gation. Okay, carry on.
The Group N cars were competing in WRC, I think, in the late 90s and 2000. Yes, that is when they are the top. There are regulations for them. There are restrictions on the size of the turbo that you can use. Must be maximum of 33 millimeters. Engine capacity is 2 liter. Four-wheel drive. Four-wheel drive with center diff and all that. Okay. Then you come to what we are now calling the Rally 2, the likes of the R5s. There's Rally 2, there's Rally 3, like the Ford Fiestas that Safaricom sponsored last year. So those are the cars that now qualify for the national championship.
So what do they put in these cars that is different from the other ones? Because clearly, at every stage, there are limitations.
Tumia mafuta ya
Yes.
ndege.
Sasa kuna hiyo mafuta ya ndege. You can use that upgraded fuel. Some use avgas, others use what we call racing fuel. It depends on the octane levels. The higher the octane level, the higher the combustion.
Oh, most certainly, and the higher the capacity for
Yes.
inflammability. Yes.
Yes. Then of course, is safety preparation. The car must have a roll cage. Suspension is upgraded. The cradles are
Roll cage are those pipe things that
The
you see
pipe
in the
things
car.
that you see, yes.
Billy up and
Yes.
a roll cage.
That's a very, very important safety equipment in any rally car.
Meaning, given the speeds that you people do, it is already predetermined that you will roll.
Not
Or-
that you will roll. You can. There's a possibility.
Okay.
Okay.
So should you roll?
Yes, should you roll, that safety cage should be able to continue there without any injuries. And by the way,
Is that why one sees drivers getting into the car through the window?
well, it's not through the window, but it's something close to that. I think for your size, you need to be flexible a little bit to be able to fit in there.
I would probably need to get in through the windscreen.
By the way, that roll cage can actually take as much force as 10 tons.
Hey.
A helicopter can land there and it
And the
doesn't
vehicle
crumble.
will still be.
That is how
stable.
safe that car is made. Now, it is a standard safety regulation for all rally cars across board. May they be for classic, may they be for national rallies, and may they be for WRC.
Wow.
Okay, that's standard.
That's a basic. Gatimu, how long have you been in the racing world? Well, not since 1974.
Yes, clearly. Yeah, I've been in the car industry for over 30 years now, because I'm actually a mechanic by profession. And since then, I've been in the rally world, the rally circles. My first good interaction with rally was Rhino Charge. And I started doing Rhino Charge in the year 2000. I did a couple of events. And one of the things that always fascinated me was how you'd go into the bush and start somewhere and end somewhere. That navigation for me was, In fact, my first rhino charge, I couldn't understand why our team decided to go that way and not this way in the bush. So that fascinated me. But at the same time, it gave me a very good sense of navigation. I'm one of those guys. If you drop me somewhere, open my eyes, I'll just have to turn 360, and I know which side is north south. Then after Rhino Charge, I was able to sit with a few drivers in some training rallies. Then Eric came one day and asked me to. Oh, but before that, I actually entered raids with a Suzuki, and
What is raids?
Rally raid is an off-road race that is done with now proper 4x4 cars. It's again done in secluded places with one of the focus is good navigation and off-road driving.
It is similar to Dakar, but
Yes, but now on a small
at a
scale,
national level.
on a national level. Yeah,
Mm.
I did that with my wife. That's how she got into rallying also. So she would drive and I'd navigate. It's a beautiful event because the scenery is out of this world.
You're still married?
Yes, we are.
Can you imagine? I am saying left. The other left.
No, she's a good listener, and yes, and of course she'd obey the husband's commands.
Oh my lord! This
So
could be a conversation about the entrenchment of the African patriarchy. But okay.
So after a few raids, then she got into rallying, and now I decided I didn't want to navigate her. And again, it was she also wanted to be navigated by a lady. She wanted an all-ladies team, so she did the two-wheel drive championship for some time. But then now I moved on. I navigated Eric in the first event he did on the national championship.
Right.
That was Grunanak 2012. And we had so much fun. That's when now he had gotten into raid. And in raid, he had another navigator. So then when he got into two-wheel drive, I took a step back and wanted to enjoy what I do most, what I like most, which is repairing the car and being his team manager. So I was his team manager, both for Eric's team and my wife's team, while my wife was rallying. Until I've been doing that until now Classic came calling. And when Eric was interviewing navigators, well, he knew that I was not going to, he didn't even want to ask me because I had hung my boots.
Yeah.
But again, age of the car. And one question he kept on asking the aspiring navigators, what is a Weber carburetor? Which he also didn't know. He had heard that. So when I answered it, there I was back on the navigator seat. Yes.
So we can just say that Eric knew he wanted you. So he came up with a question that nobody else would answer. And he was coming to prove to you, see, nobody else knows the Weber carburetor. Surely. No, surely. Well, how are you going to leave me like this, Mindo? We can't. Our guests this morning is Eric Bengi and Gatimu Mindo. They'll be participating in the forthcoming East African Safari Classic Rally between the 10th to the 8th and the 18th of February. Standard Group is the official media partner of this. Gatimu, you were telling us about how you got into this classic rally, when you started. How old were you when you first decided, let me go and do the Rhino Charge?
Okay, I did my first Rhino Charge the year 2000. Then I was about 26, 27. That's when I did my first Rhino Charge. Again, I got into a team of Rhino Charge by accident. I saw a weird-looking car where I used to work, and I was wondering, what is it for? And these guys told me that they can't get the brakes running. Anyway, long and short is that I fixed the car, and they asked me to join the team. And no idea what it was until we got to Masai Mara. That was my first charge. And like I mentioned earlier, I couldn't understand why they were going that way.
Well, they were going east when they should be going south.
And then when we got there, after bush bashing, we'd come to a waypoint. So I'd ask myself, how do they know these guys were here waiting for us? And for me, that I needed to know and understand how that works. So in the following year, I knew how that worked, and we did a second charge. On the third Rhino Charge, which was in Samburu, 2005. Our team we were third overall in what we call the Land Cruiser FJ 45 unmodified. It's a 3-speed car. Gear 1, Gear 2, Gear 3, and reverse.
It's a boda.
Kinda.
It's a tuk-tuk.
Yes, and the car was actually short. 6 grown men in a small car would crumble inside, and I mean, it was amazing. And yes, and after that, we continued a few rhino charges. I've not been to one for a while, but yes, so that actually now brought out the rallying spirit. We now went into raid with my wife in a Suzuki, the Suzuki Sierra. Lots of fun. Would actually sometimes stop in the section to take photos, beautiful sceneries. So we did that for up to around 2010 is when my wife got into the two-wheel drive rallying. So that broke the raid side.
The pairing.
Yes, and then Eric was now doing raid also. So
He decided to join you.
I was busy now managing the teams.
One of the things that you kept repeating here is you at first you didn't understand why some decisions were being made. Now you're a navigator. What is it that a navigator does? What's the job of a navigator?
The first job of a navigator, first of all, is to guide the driver on where are we going. You know, these guys, these drivers, and I'm sure navigators listening will cheer me on this. Drivers have no idea. All they know how to do is to just step on the gas. Go. And they are all cooked in the same pot. So you need to know when to slow him, when to tell him to go fast, when to tell him to turn right or left. Trust me, if you make a wrong call, left instead of right,
It's you.
you end up in the bush. So you need to pace the driver. How fast do you want him to go? How slow do you want him to go? And to plan for the section. Actually, when we get like now for classic rally, when we get the road book, I actually sit down at a quiet corner and go through the notes. It's like I'm studying a book.
It's like you're studying for an exam.
Yes, I'm literally studying for the exam. And I will mark every junction. I will mark every corner. I will mark where we need to go a bit fast, especially slow. No, fast is not a problem because I want him to go. But the slow corners, that's what I need to mark, because trust me, when you're approaching a corner at 100 and then you find it's an acute corner, oh yeah, it's quite something. So that's the work of a navigator. Pace the driver and tell him where to go. And like the current driver I have called Eric Bengi, that guy knows how to put it on the metal. So
you tell him 20.
To 20. Yeah.
I mean, it's all very interesting because all of this action is happening inside the vehicle.
Yes.
Right? But it's the thrill for those who are watching outside, those who are coming to certain parts of the circuit and seeing what's going on. There's a thrill. And I can see, over the years that it has gained in its momentum in Kenya, right? So what does this particular rally mean, and what can you encourage Kenyans who come out at the different stops? Nairobi, as you're taking off, Naivasha, Nakuru going, what can you, encourage them to come out? Because, the way you describe it in the vehicle, I mean, there's a lot of action going on there, but then the action on the outside for people who will be watching is also a thrill. So what does it portend for those who are watching?
One would actually put it as, you see the way if you notice, crowds go to corners, to places where the car will come swinging and everything.
Yeah.
It's the same thrill inside the car. When I've called the note, and most of the time the navigator does not look at, because you want to make sure you're on the next note. But I need to feel that corner. So the way he takes the corner, okay, for me, I actually get excited. Sometimes I have to remember to tell him now the next note after we make the corner. Yeah, but the same thrill that the spectators see is what we feel when we're inside the car. That's actually the adrenaline drive inside the car. And when there's two things happen when you find a lot of spectators, that's not a good place. No spectator goes to a straight place.
Yeah.
Where you find a spectator and our legendary photographer, Abdul Sidi, if you see his camera,
No, this is a nice spot.
There's a nice spot and a dangerous spot at the same time. So what we do is encourage people to come out in large numbers of course to support the event and everything, because we're happy when we see crowds out there. It is quite thrilling. It is enjoyable to watch. And seeing a 1974 vehicle doing what almost a WRC 2021 car will do is not very close, but close to it. It's quite thrilling. Yes.
I want to ask this question. To get the car ready for the rally, what is the estimated amount of money that you actually invest in the car? Because you've already told me that I can't go to the showroom, buy a car, and then go and put it in a rally.
I think for a classic car, it is about passion. Most of the people who are driving in classic, they'll actually tell you that they prepare the cars behind in their garages. It is the love for the car. It is the love for the detail. Yes, the biggest investment here is time. You need a lot of time to go through the nitty-gritty details and go through them properly to ensure that you are tip-top for the 10 days. The 10 days of rallying is not an easy thing. So let me
ask this question differently, okay? The tires that you use every day to drive around Nairobi or wherever it is one lives are not the same sort of tires you're going to use for the rally, okay?
No.
The shock absorbers that you have, which that car came with from Japan, are not the same shock absorbers you're going to use for the rally.
No, they are not.
The braking system, I think you get where I'm going with this one.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, look, let's put it this way. For an event like this, yes, you need to put aside a budget, give or take 3 to 5 million for preparation, logistics.
Does that include buying the car? Or
No. The car
You
you
already have
it.
the car.
Have
You
the
have the
car.
car is prepared.
Then you put in an equivalent of another car
Yes.
into this car.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the fun of the game. That's why we have Standard coming in. Maybe you can sponsor 2-3 cars. Yes, you're now sponsoring the media. We have somebody else coming in, support 1 or 2 drivers, and it's for the fun of it and for the entertainment to the public and to the supporters and the spectators.
And when you say sponsorship, what does it mean?
Sponsorship comes in different ways. Like what you are doing is a great thing. You've come to do the entire coverage for this event and to publicize it there to the people. You are giving a lot of visibility to the other sponsors who are supporting the different teams. East African Safari Classic actually has sponsored us the car. They actually give us the car. They have given us, they have sponsored us the entry and a bit of accommodation, which is, again, it's a very big thing. So with that kind of support, we can actually continue growing the sport.
You have a support team that accompanies you.
Yes.
What does this support team come with?
Number one, let's put it this way. First and foremost, you actually need a very organized support team. Because, and let me give you a visual of the classic. You need to have 3 sets of service crews. One of them
That's what they're called, service crew.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. One will be at the main service, and 2 are running around in the remote services. Following you. You in classic, the setup is for roadside service, and 1 main service either at the end of the day. So those guys, they're the ones who put the fuel in the car, who repair if you have any breakdown. You change the tires at every other service. You need to check whether they are okay. In case there's anything that is broken, they need to replace. And there's quite a lot of logistical preparation that you need for that. Again, the cabin crew also need to be repaired. They need some food, they need some water, they need some juice, they need some, some energy to keep on going. So you have all those people around you, and they move with you from stage to stage. Those, I can say, they are the most important people in any race because they're the ones who keep you moving.
Are they volunteers or are they people who are paid?
If you're lucky to have volunteers, it is a big plus.
It's a blessing.
It's a big blessing. Otherwise, you may have to pay them.
Mutuma Marimba says the rally the driver is always under instructions, and he tells you, Eric, that I missed the red team with Bengi and Martin Kivuva. You should take CT for a spin on the Evo.
Yes, Mutuma is a navigator. That's a navigator speaking.
Mutuma is a navigator.
Yes. Right.
Yes.
So when you're talking about this 10 days and how much money basically you have to have on the side, how much support you need to have, how many people you need to interview, a navigator, the service crew, and people who need to understand and have a passion on the job that is at hand. This is quite a lot of investment.
Yes, it's a lot of investment, but it also comes in as support from the other people. Like you've heard, we were sponsored. We've been sponsored partially for entry and a bit of logistics. Somebody else, one of our other sponsors, is also coming in with something else. So it is all, when you put all of it together, it adds up. For instance, and again, it also matters what message you are bringing out there. We have, for us, we are rallying against cancer, and we are supporting the cancer message that cancer is preventable, cancer is curable, and cancer is manageable. We also want to go out there and put in a positive message to the people, and to understand that you need to keep on checking, you need to check yourself, you need to keep on keeping healthy as much as you can. So for us, we are doing this for a purpose, and we are doing it for the passion of it.
Is there is there a commercial goal by the organizers? For example, the East Africa Safari Classic Rally organizers, like we see with the World Rally Championships, the FIA is basically looking at it as a commercial venture. This is how they will make money from rights, broadcast rights. They'll make money from others. Do the organizers of the East Africa Safari Classic make any money, to the best of your knowledge? I mean, is this motivated by commercial gain?
I don't know, but maybe not. I think for what East African Classic is doing is beyond the commercials. They have, for instance, if you had last the mini classic that we did in November, they actually sponsored entry fee and accommodation for driver and navigator for all the crews that participated.
Wow.
I don't think they really had any commercial gain out of that. I think they are very, very passionate for the sport. If you look at the input they did, including a very heavy breakfast at the start at Waterfront, I mean, this went beyond any imagination.
But you see, why we ask is, for them to spend the money, they must have money. Where does the money come from?
I don't know. Maybe he can interview them, they say. But for what they have done for the sport, and especially for the classic,
you feel this is the passion that's driving them. The motivation is passion for the sport.
Yes, absolutely.
You see, the commercial angle isn't a negative thing, actually. No, it isn't. I mean, this is a delightful sport. It's exciting.
Yes.
And this thing has been there for the longest time. People like myself remember it as children. And it was during Easter.
Yes.
It took 4 whole days. It was one of the most exciting things that you could actually witness.
I think sorry, go ahead.
So, no, I was going to say, I believe East African Classic Rally are driven by passion, because a lot of us in the rally circles actually do it for passion. It's not for commercial gain. As much as I'm a mechanic and as much as I run my business, I try as much as possible to ensure in whatever way that rally people are comfortable. I'm involved a lot in the autocross where children start and everything, and at least every year I make sure I help in one way or the other to ensure that somebody is enjoying the sport, and it's all about passion, be it transportation of the car to the event, in whatever small way. And again, what we do also in terms of the organization of the events is more of passion driven than any gainful monetary gain. If you look at even the people at the East African Classic Secretariat, I was looking at a caption that the clerk of course put the other day, that he's done about 42,000 kilometers to just do this event. If you try and think through it, well, no matter how much that guy you want to pay to compensate him,
You can't.
you can't. The knuckling is taken.
Yeah.
Oh.
But Gatimu, is
yes.
there, at least commercial means that if they're able to make some money out of this event, then they're also able to finance and develop the event and market it better. Are there opportunities for making the East Africa Safari Classic a commercial event, a commercially viable venture?
I think so. Marketing, I think, would be a big thing. Advertisement, ring fencing on the rights and selling the rights. Because let me tell you, the captions, the photos that you get out of the classic, it's out of this world. There's nowhere else you'll ever capture an antelope jumping over a car in the middle of a stage. Yeah, there's nowhere else you'll capture a monkey picking up a child in the middle of the road, and the race car is just there. So I think from that perspective, they can there's something they can do about it. Number two, yes, for the organization, there's entry fee. And like this event, I think is very well attended. I think there are about 48 entries. That's a good entry number. And with the international teams coming, there's also quite a lot that we can sell here in terms of selling the country, Kenya as a destination. I mean, it's beautiful. So, but that does not mean that we cannot give them more support. They need more support. As Mindo has said, a lot of motorsport things are motivated by passion. And is what I was mentioning, the sponsorship of the mini classic, entry fees and accommodation for everybody. I mean, it's not anything that we witness every other day.
Yeah.
So it's a big thing in its own way. But yes, there are means and ways that they can also commercialize.
There's room
it.
for this.
Yeah.
So Eric and Gatimu, what car number will you be driving, and when shall we be able to see you?
Yeah, we'll be in car number 28. It has sunset colors, beautiful orange,
This is
light. Yes,
That's yellow.
That's
It's a
yellow.
sunset color.
yes,
It's one of them.
It's a sunset color.
yes. It is yellow fading. Is it fading or brightening to orange? Just like the shirt is there.
It's
All right.
Yes, cascading to orange. Yes.
Très bien, monsieur.
Better English. Car number 28, that's an 180B as he mentioned. We're starting off from Naivasha, as I mentioned. First day, second day, we're in Nakuru. That fourth days, it's in Nanyuki.
Yes.
Fifth, sixth, 7 days, seventh day, we are in Amboseli, including the rest day. I think the rest day is on the fifth day. Then from Amboseli, we are going to Voi. That's on the 8th day, on the 7th day. Then either 9th day, we are in Watamu. So across Kenya.
Yeah, it's crossing
You can
through the
see us,
country. We wish you all the
throughout
best.
all that.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Wish
you
you
very
all the
much.
best,
Yeah.
and thank you very much for joining us this morning. Eric Bengi and Gatimu Mindo will be participating in the same car number 28. Eric being the driver and Gatimu being the boss. East African Safari Classic Rally this year from the 10th to the 18th of February. The Standard Media Group is the media partner, official media partner. We thank you very much for joining us, gentlemen. All the best.
Thank you very much.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.